Just want to welcome everybody to Elevate Your Profits, and we'll be right back. Here we go. I haven't played that one in a while.
That little musical interlude, that made my day.
Yeah, so how are you, my friend?
I'm doing great. Outstanding.
Good.
Grateful to be here, full of gratitude. Had a great day. Had a lot of opportunity to talk to different people and some neat stuff going on out there. And
Good.
believe it or not, more people are starting to meet face to face for a change as opposed to what we're doing here, which I'm not making fun of, by the way. I think this is probably the next best thing to meeting somebody live, but I think we'll all
You can
agree.
definitely meet a lot more people or talk with more people in this platform versus trying to meet people over coffee and lunch, right? So,
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Man,
and
that
less
was,
expensive too. You don't have to fit the bill for a bologna sandwich for somebody.
yeah. Well, you can have coffee. You can, I know some people send, uh, like in a week in advance, they'll send them something like some coffee samplers and say, "Hey, let's you and I hook up at 10 o'clock next Monday," and that's cool. You can do it that way. But yeah,
Yeah.
try it's better than going to Starbucks. That's for sure. That's a religious experience. Starbucks, it is.
For some, I guess.
Yeah, I happen to have here cards that I get from my sister, for Starbucks, which is great. I don't have to pay for it, but and I appreciate it. But yeah, I don't think it's always as religious to get a cup of coffee that you can make at your house and kind of customize it the way you want it. So
Yeah.
you know,
Well, nothing about Starbucks. I was in the
no,
coffee industry for years, and here in Madison represented a roaster, and I learned a lot about baristas and how to make
oh yeah,
coffee and that type of stuff. And I tell you what, they're far from being the best coffee out there. I'll just put it that way. So
yeah,
it's
and
how they roast it and
yes,
the bean profiles that they use, those type of things. It's like wine. Every region of the world has a different flavor in the coffee profile, whether it's Costa Rican, Colombian, Kona, you name it.
right.
But most coffee roasters roast their coffees way too dark. And so here we're doing coffee 101 this afternoon, which instead of getting into what we're going to be
On
talking about.
elevate your profits, baby.
That's
And
it.
and
But
I'll close on Starbucks is great, not knocking the product. I think they got a great thing going. And if you really want to have some coffee, have some Greek coffee. That'll really if you
there you
need to
go.
be awakened, have an invigorating experience, out of body, out of mind experience. If you're
Yeah.
not used to it, get some of that Greek coffee straight up. I guarantee you, it'll wake you up.
I grew up with some high school friends who were Greek, and there's more than their Greek coffee that they really like too, like ouzo and those type
Oh
of things.
yes, yes, that licorice liqueur flavored,
One or
and
two sips of that, and it gets
oh
you to
yeah,
dance on the table. That's for sure.
absolutely. You'll be breaking plates and howling at the moon, later
That's
that
right.
night. So,
Picking up tables with your teeth and dancing with
oh yeah,
chairs. Oh, they're
oh yeah.
crazy.
You
Yeah,
you can get all sorts of
you know what
crazy.
I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been there twice now. Actually,
Okay.
I've teased him. I said, hey, when I went to Gina's relatives, I asked one of them, I said, hey, when I get done eating here, so you don't have to wash these, why don't we just break them? They started laughing.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
but
Mark, we might as well tell a little bit about why we do EYP, and
okay,
I'll let you
elevate
go
your
ahead, and then
profits.
I'll just chime in as well. And we've got a topic we're going to talk about tonight, and I think
Yes,
it goes
yes,
hand in hand what we did last week with Mel Robbins, but
right,
a
right,
different perspective of accomplishing what you want to accomplish in life. So
right. Elevate your profits very simply is a program that, you and I sat down and you came up with this idea. Hey, and by the way, before I get into this, anybody that wants to talk about your business, your cause, your passion, Tom and I welcome you. Reach out to us right now and say, hey, I'd like to talk. If you've written a book, you've got a hobby that you're passionate about. But with that, we do talk about money from time to time. Hope you don't mind. That does come up. It's okay to make money out there. As Grant Cardone says, it's what your duty, obligation, responsibility to be successful. And you got to determine your success. And I think that's what this program and platform's about, because we've had people that deal with mindset, uh, technical, people that are into high tech, high touch. We've had them on here. Ways to make revenue, if you want to call it a side hustle, whether
Sure.
it's through Be Connected, through ASEA, whether it's through, you know, power lead systems, whatever you're talking about, click funnels. We could go through the whole gamut of technology, but I'm not going to do that. If you've written a book, we've had people that are authored. We've had Ben Gay. There's other people I'm not mentioning
Larry
here.
Levine, and we can
Right.
sort of go down the list.
I don't want to drop a whole bunch of names, but and that goes back to some of it's applicable to sales mindset. Then others have written books about inner self, inner being. I know your wife Kathy. I consider her a sage because she's got a lot of wisdom. You got to
Yeah.
listen real close because she shares a lot of wisdom with you. By the way, is she coming back from her retreat? Is it tonight
I
or?
picked her up earlier this afternoon, so she's home now. Oh, yeah, she spends a week in silence and solitude for this is
Yeah,
her 21st year, I believe, 20 or 21 years. She
yeah.
goes away
So
7 to 10 days in a nice retreat center in a little glass cabin that overlooks a frozen lake and here in Wisconsin. And she feeds the squirrels and the birds and all that type of stuff and does her writing and reflecting. She does a lot of what we're going to be talking about today, creating her vision for herself
right,
and what's important to her. And she does what she loves. I think we can't really see what's behind this here. It says, do what you love. I
right.
think that's one of the most important things. If you're going to be in business, do something that gives you a lot of desire, passion, and purpose, and everything else will fall in line. And I think, we're coming off the new year already. People have already started making new year plans. Probably 90% of them have already been trashed already.
they fell out of the waist. They went down the tubes. Like all those workout freaks. So that's why I wait. Now, like February, March will be a good time to go back to the gym again because right now, all the New Year's resolution types, they're either fading by the wayside. And but by the way, I'm not making fun of that. I think that's great. We talk about like elevate your profits. We do talk about health. We've
Yeah,
had people on here that have definitely talked about that and the importance of it and what you can do. Health upstairs here in the mind. Tom, you always talk about the mind, and that is very important. How you view yourself and do you love yourself. I know that sounds kind of crazy to some, but if you don't, you can't help someone else. uh,
right.
your approach, and just how you engage with people. I think the older I get, and that's why I'm grateful, is you get these opportunities to, like tomorrow I'll be at the Georgia World Congress Center. I'm going to see a whole slew of people, and I'm really looking forward to that. I don't know what's going to become of it. I mean, I have an idea, but it's just going to be neat to meet all these people. And I do have appointments in the process, but it's going to be wild to watch all these latest and greatest displays that are out there. And I used to be in that industry. Thank God I don't do it anymore because it's eons of work. I mean, when you
Oh
put
yeah,
together an event like that,
yeah,
you don't have normal working hours. You go until it's done, and
yeah.
so it'll be kind of nice.
Oh, good.
But
Well, much success to you tomorrow, and I know
oh, thank
you'll
you.
you'll you'll make some things happen, and it's part of your vision. And So today, that's what we're going to be talking about. So a lot of people may not know this, but I've been coached and trained by Bob Proctor as a thinking results consultant, understanding what goes on, but how we think and determines the outcomes we get. And we hear personal development talking about goals and goals and goals and goals. What's your goal?
Right.
Well, I learned from one of my clients in the past. He asked me if I'd ever heard of Dr. Miles Monroe, and I at that point had not. But he's from the Dominican Republic. Him and his wife passed away in an airplane crash flying back to the Dominican Republic. But has an institute helping people better understand success. And he did a talk on the power of vision. He's written a book on the power of vision. When I was turned on to that, it changed my perspective about what's the difference between those that are succeeding at high levels and those that are just getting by with goals. And there's nothing wrong with having goals, if they're stepping stone. But I think if we reframe what a vision is and how it becomes an integral part in everything that you do, life becomes not easy, but easeful. And I think that we'll go through some a presentation I give here locally to different business organizations. So I'm going to just go through that tonight, and we're just going to, banter back and point. Mark, anytime you have a comment you want to make, or anybody writes a comment in the chat, we encourage people to tag and share. We never know what we're saying might impact somebody in a way that will change their lives. Not that we are the biggest experts in the world, but my life experience, I can show you how to get where I'm at in life. And Mark, you can do the same. I think that's the key of finding somebody that can be a mentor for you, is we all have a gift or a talent or life experiences that help somebody else succeed. So hopefully tonight, some of the points I'll be covering in this presentation, I've done several times, like I said, with the different business organizations in my community in Milwaukee, et cetera. So I'm just going to go through that because I think it hopefully will give you a different perspective. I've had great feedback on it. So we'll go from there. Anything else you want to talk about, Mark, before we get going?
Oh, I'm looking forward to what you're going to share with us here.
Okay. All right, so here we go. I have to find it here real quick. I just loaded it up. EYP stuff. And the first slide is just really a little bio about myself. If Mark, if you've probably never seen this, but you can go ahead and go through it if you'd like, and basically I'll just go through it real quick. Been in business for myself since 1983. I'm currently involved in operating 6 different businesses under my Duco LLC. Life Empowered Institute is my personal coaching, LEI. Coaching Academy, I do train those that want to become coaches with a platform. Thinking Results, corporate sales training. I'm a financial coach through the Dave Ramsey. So I've got a coaching platform about money, 180-degree financial coaching. One of the network marketing companies I was associated with was Team National. This is not totally up to date. And my wife and I have a wellness center here in Oconomowoc, holistic massage, acupuncturist, medical acupuncturist, holistic health approach to health. So I'm involved with her in that business as well. With the C is one of the products that we use. I'm originally from California, but I've been living in Wisconsin now for 25 years now. Some of my hobbies and things I love doing, I love time with my wife, Kathleen. Quiet time, reading, walking, reading and studying principles of personal growth. I'm a big Wisconsin football and basketball fan. Hey, just for everybody's information out there, Wisconsin just got ranked today number 6 in the country in basketball. And wow. I love the simple life. I don't need a lot of hustle bustle. I don't need lots of big crowds or anything like that. Some of the things I'm involved besides my business, the service organization Kiwanis. I'm a president-elect with the Kiwanis Club here in our area. A fabulous organization, deal with kids in high school, college. I'm also on a condominium board of directors, and Some of the things I've done in the past in my personal coaching is UW Milwaukee, the TRIO program that's from the Department of Education Veterans Grant Program, supporting veterans. I created a program to help veterans better understand their process to achieving the things that they want, and also did financial coaching with that organization, with those individuals as well. So that's probably one of my proudest things to do, is serving veterans. They pay a tremendous amount of price to give us the freedoms that we have. So that's a little bit of background about myself, but let's talk a little bit about Power Vision. Simplify your life, the common denominator for success. We're talking about those principles. I'm going to pose a question here. What do these people have in common? Mark, you want to make any comment? Who do you see in this page of people?
I would say they're all influencers.
Yeah, some of the biggest influencers ever walked this earth, right? We got Moses, we got Jesus Christ, we got Abraham Lincoln.
Those are the top two right there.
Exactly. Carnegie, you name it. Bill Gates, Warren Buffett are there.
Jobs.
Something that's these people have in common. If we're looking for success, now some of these people have success, have accomplished things that we can't comprehend in what they've accomplished in their life. But it didn't start with a goal. It really started with something else. We'll talk about what they all have in common here. Bob Proctor's there as well. I put my picture there because I follow all these people and take what they've said, and does it apply in my life, and can I take what they've done and accomplish and improve my life in any way I can. So these are some of these people are heroes of mine right there. So what they all have in common is vision. When you hear them speak on their purpose in life, they talk about their vision, not their goals, but their vision, what they expect to see, what that's going to look like and feel like when they accomplish it out in the future. They vision the future happening now. I think this is an important thing, Mark. When we look at successful people, a lot of times we hear people write your goals down, but this is a study that came out of a big comprehensive study out of Harvard. The 10-10-80 principle, 10% of people that graduated Harvard had clear written goals, 10% had somewhat goals, 80% had no written goals. And this is what they found out about those that had written goals, clearly defined written goals. That's a process we can talk about at another time. But they make 20 times more than the other 90% combined, the top 10%. I think success leaves a clue. Would you agree, Mark?
Oh, absolutely.
If somebody says, I'm writing my goals down, and they're making 100 times more money than you are in your business, wouldn't you think that'd be a principle that you'd want to investigate and see why it works?
Yes.
Yeah. So those that write their goals down, the top 10%, clearly defined, it's like writing a manuscript, make 20 times more money than the 90% combined in that study from Harvard. And Harvard's got some pretty successful people. Would you agree?
Absolutely. Hey, Tom, can I just interject something? You mentioned about people having that vision. I know you mentioned Wisconsin basketball or football. That's kind of exactly what Bill Walsh did when he started picking his players. They had to have that type of vision. He was looking for guys that had a vision. And regardless of how good they were, if they didn't, he wouldn't take them.
Right.
And I found that interesting. He had like a psychological profile on his players.
Sure.
Pretty smart guy. He wasn't a dummy for sure.
Right. And there's something behind that, recognize a vision versus a goal. This is the common denominator of success. With a vision, you have clarity and purpose. you have a clear mental picture, you're clear on what the outcome is going to be, and it has a purpose. Why are you doing it? I think it's very important. I always ask this question: do you have a clear written plan of your vision? People with a clear written goals accomplish more in a shorter period of time than people without them could ever imagine. Well, that's going back to those people we had in the previous slide. Just imagine some of the things they've accomplished that some of us can't even comprehend because our thinking is not in the same alignment with them. So what I think is really important about living life with a vision is so important. It lines everything up that's important to you in life, from your personal life, your spiritual life, your business life, who you hang out with, your hobbies that you do. All those things are controlled by your vision. In it, when you don't have a vision, lives are undisciplined. I think we hear this all the time, especially in athletics. You got to be disciplined. You got to be disciplined in anything that you do to accomplish, even in your marriage and relationship. It takes discipline to be working on those principles of a successful relationship. A person with vision lives a very narrow life. Well, a lot of people say, well, I don't want to live a narrow life. But what it does, it gives you disciplined life, and it simplifies your life. It controls all your choices. You know where you're going. You automatically know which roads won't take you there. You automatically know what you should do. When you're clear on your vision, it's like a litmus test. See, that idea doesn't support my idea, so you don't entertain it. So you live a simpler life. And I'll cover a point here that the rich and the famous use. Any comments, Mark?
Well, I think so far you're on the mark here. These are, I will say this, and since I know you are sharing this with us, this is very good. Do you ever struggle with this?
Oh, sure. It's the discipline, sticking to it day in and day out, writing things down, continue redefining your division, getting clear. Internal work takes a lot of work. It's not just A plus B plus C is going to give you my goal. It goes beyond that. It goes into your desire and your why. You're writing your destiny. Your root word here is destiny. You are destined for greatness. I think that's important when we have a vision. Don't limit yourself to average and ordinary, or don't let somebody else define what greatness is for you. Write your destiny down, dictates your decisions. Destiny dictates your decisions. Knowing where you're going. There's no doubt where I'm going in my ASEA business or the Be Connected, and all my decisions I make relative to those two business enterprises makes it very simple what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. By having a destiny and your decisions, it's easy to say no to things that don't align with your vision. How many times do we chase silver object, Mark? I'm one that can chase silver
Yeah,
object.
I know. We're guilty of that, aren't we? The shiny new thing that pops up, and
there's nothing wrong with it. I encourage people to look at things, evaluate them in relationship to your vision, and if it aligns with it, go to work, roll up your sleeves, and apply those things that help you get to where you want to go. And when we don't have a clear vision, it makes things complicated. Should I do this or should I do that, or whatever comes up in your thinking? So understand your destiny. Makes decisions much easier. So this sort of where most people at, I can relate to this myself, Mark, is I have to do a lot of things in life. That attitude, that can also create some problems. When you study successful people or influencer life changers, I want you to write this down on what's coming up on the next slide. Write this down. This is the one thing I do. All these people, if you really study their historical profiles, their business profiles, their personal life profiles, it always comes down to one thing I do, their why. They may have 5 different businesses, but the why is all intertwined with them. So it's not a problem having 4 or 5 different businesses, but why are you doing those business? What's the outcome in relationship to your vision in life? Spiritually, business, relationship, everything else. You learn to say no to things that are not necessary. You end up asking this question: what is necessary? I think this is important to understand too. This is not just hokey pokey stuff, but the research shows this: people that discover their vision, they live longer, they live healthier, and they have, I wouldn't say no stress, but they have less stress. And stress comes from not knowing what to do. When you have a vision, you always know what to do. Make sense?
Absolutely.
And I think this is really important, especially now, the first of the year, people have written their goals. Got to have some sense of urgencies. Great friend of mine is no longer with us, was a mentor of mine, but we only live 27,375 days in a lifetime if we live a normal lifespan. So just take your current age times 365, subtract it from 27,675. That's how many days you have left to accomplish your vision. And we look, I'm getting too old. That's for a young person. Ray Kroc at age 65 created a vision and became a billionaire at age 65. Mark, do you know anything about his story? Him struggling
I do a little bit because back in the day, there's a show here. It's called the Southeastern KFC show, and these are people that had KFC franchises. And some of those people shared their story how Wiley Sanders, the colonel, sometimes he'd sleep in the back of his car. And he was telling everybody, if you stay with me, I'm going to help you become a millionaire, you know. And they were just struggling to open up their very first franchise. And he got turned
Amazing
down.
story.
Yeah.
He struggled in life.
It's, nobody wanted what he was offering.
Right.
And then it was like, okay, let's take a chance on this guy.
What is your vision? And define it, clearly define it. And then what you got to do is claim it, that you own it. You are, like I love what Glenn Moore says, if you have a goal to be more loving, that's the wrong verbiage. I am more loving. You claim what you want as if you have it today. If you want to make $1 million a year, there's nothing wrong with that. I know a lot of people that are making millions of dollars a year or more. But they claimed it before they even made their first dollar. They visioned it in the outcome, and they were emotionally tied to the outcome. Vision creates intentional living. As we've talked about Kathy, my wife, she says it also creates boundaries and non-negotiables. You won't do anything that doesn't support your vision, is what she works off of. That's the reason she's so successful in her career, in her notoriety, in what she does. With a vision, it creates intentional living. What is intentional living with a vision? What is not necessary? You just start asking, what is not necessary in your life? What are the things that you do that you could be doing something different to support your vision? You come home at the end of the day, you have a goal to retire early, but your economic situation isn't working. You just come home and watch TV, or you're reading books, or you going to workshops or seminars to find better ways to move you down the road. Most of us, and I'm speaking from experience myself, many times what we do is not necessary in our life, but our culture tells us it's important to do this. The company you keep, the people you keep in your life can eat up your time, waste your time. People you eat with, play with, mindless conversations. How many do we have in those in a day? Who we play with, watching TV, going to clubs, are our priorities around these areas. Meetings, conferences, not in alignment with your vision. You know, we get promoted all the time, come to this workshop, but you have to, before you make a decision to go, does it align with your vision?
Right.
Water cooler talk, gossip, stuff, just doing Facebook stuff on the phone, text messaging with these people are distractions. So to accomplish what you really want in life, you have to be very critical of who you bring into your life.
Right.
And only align yourself with people that, number one,
Hey,
believe in. Go ahead.
Tom, I wasn't laughing at you when you had water cooler talk. Somebody may be saying, what is that? You know, but it just always reminds me when I did work in an office setting, I would just kind of go real quick, get my coffee and get out of there, you know?
Right.
Say hello. Yeah, doing great. Had a great weekend. Oh, gotta go. Just,
Yeah. If we start looking at all these areas that within people, they are distractions. People can't be distractions. So you've got to be very critical of where you're spending time and why you're spending time with people.
right.
I think the vision creates intentionality. What do you read, Mark? What are things that you read? I ask this question: are you reading just romance novels, magazines, fashion, sports magazines? There's no longer any Sports
Yeah.
Illustrated newspapers, or just websites. What type of books are you reading?
No, you know, just the basics of, you've got one up there, Think and Grow Rich is one of them. I read various sales books. Another one I have been reading, you know, it's so basic, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Dale Carnegie. I know everybody
Sure.
knows about it, but actually go back and reread it and, you know, just kind of check yourself. Uh, you know,
I
just
like to
there's,
say what Bob Proctor says. Most people read a book, put it on the shelf, that's the end of it.
yeah,
Study it, study it.
right.
You know, keep going back. Bob Proctor read Think and Grow Rich every day. He was a reference source for him for nearly 60 years. So study these people, study the words. As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. Pretty deep, heavy stuff. It really is the internal work. U Squared, Price Pritchard. Thinking that, you know, we've been conditioned the what I call the step ladder approach to success, one rung at a time. He teaches the principle of acceleration, U squared. You can do more than you think you can in a quicker period of time. So we got to really start changing our thinking and start thinking like those that we saw on some of the other slides there. Our vision dictates everything. It's simple, like I said earlier, it simplifies our life. How many of us are jack of all trades and master of none? I can put myself in that one. I used to do a lot of things and lost focus. When I got focused on the one or two things, what's the one? When you discover the one thing equals your vision, you can take on more, but it's got to be very clear and concise, supporting the vision. If you don't find a vision, it will find you. It's inside of you. It's a unique voice that is always with you. Find a quiet place, be still and know. Those are pretty powerful words. Be still and know. Contemplate. Go with your intuition. And when you're putting together your vision, you'll know. You know, we hear a lot of people are struggling financially. Poverty is not the problem. It's the result of lack of a vision. How many times have we seen people that have struggled and failed and living in the street? You know, the Rami al-Batwari lived in the streets, became a billionaire. So his vision was always clear. He applied the principles in Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, applied those, studied that book, and guess what? He changed his life. He's changing thousands of other people's lives as well. I think this is important. Most people are poor because no one knows who you are and what you do. I think, Mark, this is one of the premises of this program. It's a good platform. Anybody that's out there listening to this has a vision, a purpose, something they want to share. We'll be glad to help you get people know who you are and what you do. You have to take that courage to step out of the box, right, Mark? Doing these live streams in front of a camera. And I'm a big Simon Sinek guy. Here's another person I study. When people know who you are, they will know what to come to you for. So you got to be very clear on your character, who you are, what you stand for in relationship to what you're selling. And we're always selling, right, Mark?
Oh, yes.
Whether it's in a business application, whether it's in a personal development, relationship, spiritually, we're always selling some point of view. Would you agree?
Absolutely. You know, yesterday the priest was selling his sermon to us, you know. So
Yeah.
that's the way I look at it.
Yes. Simon Sinek, start with your why. Start with the why. If you want to become successful, write this down. Do not seek success. Seek to become a person of value. It's a pretty powerful statement. Would you agree, Mark?
Absolutely. Can you elaborate on that word value when
We'll
you
get
say
there.
that,
Yeah.
Tom? Could you share some things with us here?
I would say one thing of value that you can bring in relationship, whether it be business, personally, spiritually, is can people count on you? Is your word your word? If you say you're going to
Right.
do something for yourself, are you doing it? Or are you doing it? So you say you're going to do something for somebody else, are you doing it? I think that's probably one of the greatest values that you can create.
Right.
That you become a valuable person. If you do say you're going to do something for yourself and or for somebody else, that's integrity. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And don't over deliver, but don't over promise and under deliver. If you know you can help somebody, it's better to under promise and over deliver. Would you agree? That gives you value.
Yep. Hey, Tom, how do you feel about like sometimes, uh, that word authenticity or being authentic, be you, don't try and copy somebody. Like I know you are a follower of, and still are, of Bob Proctor, but you can't be him. You can't come across like him. Sometimes people get into that trick bag. It's okay to use something as a model, but you really got to be yourself when you're delivering a message or.
Yeah. And many times we're trying to be somebody that we're not. We're trying to impress
Right.
people. We're trying to fill our own ego. And I think people see me screwing up on this presentation. There's what's wrong with Ginn? Can he read or what? No, I can't. I got
Yeah.
dyslexia. These words are all upside down and crazy to me. If anybody knew what audio dyslexia is, it's one of those challenges I've had to overcome all my years. It held me back for many years until I recognized it, that I don't really care what other people think. Of those type, we all want to be liked, but in reality, I really don't care what one thinks of me, as long as I know I'm being truthful with myself and truthful with other people. I'm living in integrity, and I bring value to the world. And we all have some value to take. So I hope that answered your question or gave you.
Oh, no, absolutely. I think that you said a mouthful there. It's not, just be yourself and don't worry what people are going to think, or and don't try and be something you're not, because people will pick up on that in a heartbeat. I mean, you know,
It's like bringing people of value. You can go out there and say, I'm going to show you how to make $10 million. First question was asking, are you making 10 million? No, but I can show you how to make a million because I've done that, right? So
right.
if you're honest and straightforward, you can always bring people to where you're at. And you can and hopefully that they will continue following you in your business and personal life because they see you growing. You're giving them value, they're growing. That's the key, is they see the value. They're not being hyped. I think it's a big thing that we see out there, is a lot of hype, get rich quick, or this is the only answer to becoming financially successful. It really comes down to your vision, your why, and your purpose in life will help you get there. Mark, would you agree that we pay for things that we put value on?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What
Gold,
do you put
silver.
your value on? Myself being a financial coach, I could always take a look at somebody's checkbook, their credit card statements, and determine what their values are. And if they are spending their money in an area that's keeping them broke, or their value is not about prosperity, if their value, they see themselves not being valuable or worthy of. And society has made these things valuable. Gold, silver, gasoline, right? We're willing to spend money for those things. Write this down. Make yourself just like gold. In other words, develop a gift in your life that becomes so valuable for everyone else, they will pay you for performing it. Any comment there?
I think that's great.
And I'll give you a Ginnism that I came up with, and it's through the influence of Glenn Morshower. The threads of our thoughts become the garments we wear. What are the garments we're wearing? Are they authentic? Are they purposeful? So what we think about ends up showing up in, I call the garments of our life, what people see, the clothes we wear, not physical clothes, but who we really show up as is based on the thoughts that we harbor. That's a whole conversation itself. First thoughts. I'll share this with you. Your value. What is your value? Well, if you don't have a good relationship with money and prosperity, you don't know people that are successful. Maybe you grew up in a family like mine was a lack. My parents grew up in the Depression era. No college educations in the family lineage, those type of things. So it was always about lack. And people that had a lot of money, they were different, they were special, whatever the case may be. Most people devalue themselves. They think they're not good enough, smart enough, pretty enough, whatever the case may be. And their self-image dictates the outcome they get. They don't have a vision. Anybody that is struggling, they'll have a lack of the vision, and their self-image is weak. And this was brought out to my mind years ago when I was A.L. Williams. Is asking somebody for a check. Let's say you're doing a presentation, you're wanted to market them or sell them some life insurance and investment mutual fund, and you've done a financial profile, and If you don't feel good about asking for the money, you will never receive it. Okay. It'd be like this. If you're selling a Boeing 747 for $40 million, and you're asking somebody to write a check for that, and you only got $1,000 in your bank account, and you are struggling there, you're going to have trouble getting that person to write a check for the airplane. So it really comes down, what do you value yourself at? Many people believe they're valued based on the size of their bank account, their checking account, the asset they have, and they're not comfortable asking for people to make an investment in something that would help them. So it really comes down, do you value yourself, and do you value that you're worthy of the outcome of the proposition that you're seeking? And to write this question down, what is the one thing about you that will remind people of you? I could probably go through, you could probably, Mark, do a survey on myself. I could do one on you with the people that know you. We'll find a common denominator, how people see us. And I think that's a good thing to do, is in relationship, have people tell you what they see in the relationship. What do they see in your spiritual life? What do they see in your business life? And don't worry about meeting a standard, but take it to heart, because that's the garment you're wearing out there. Does it make sense?
Oh yeah. What's the one thing? I think
And I know who to go on mine. That'd be my wife, Kathleen. She always tells me straight up. I think creating what we want in life comes down to the vision, but what's the history? What's your history with success in life? I would venture to say those that grew up in the Rockefeller's household had a whole different viewpoint and attitude about money, wealth, and success. Would you agree, Mark?
Yeah, just a little bit.
A lot of people that are accomplishing very significant, part of their vision is leaving a legacy for mankind. Did I make a difference in the world? It's not just how big the bank account got. What is the history that you're leaving? What's the one thing that no one could take away from your history or legacy?
Hey, Tom, can you go back there when you talk about your history and legacy? And
Yeah.
like we all struggle with this. We were not created to get a job and pay bills. When people, have their vision and they go through that process, there's going to be some challenges along the way, right? Where
they have to believe it, Mark. The first thing that comes to do actually believe.
Right. But what I'm saying is, I think some people get caught in a trick bag where if they might have a bad day or a bad month, that their vision's not right. And how do you feel about that?
Well, if your vision's clear, you'll see the pitfalls that you stepped into, right?
Right.
So it's an easy thing to correct. When you have a clear vision, purpose, and why, you can see those things that are not supporting the outcomes you want. And yeah, in business specifically, we're going to have good days, bad days, and days that we wish never existed. But we learn from them. We have a good attitude about what can I take away from this? Did I really bring value? Where did I fall short on that? And then go to work on rectifying that.
Correct.
I believe we're put on this earth to more than just make a living. We're here to make a difference with our gifts and our talents. Mark, you have gifts and talents that I don't have, and vice versa. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
And I don't try to compare my talents with somebody else. I call it, what's your genius factor? We all have one. And then claim it. feel good about that genius factor, because there's no other Mark Gassert in this world. There's no other Tom Ginn. What I bring to this world is totally unique from my perspective, and it's going to resonate and help other people in many different ways. That's my objective. And if I stay on task, that's the genius factor. You just claim it and keep moving forward. You own it. Claim it. Be passionate about your gift. Let's think about this. Vision will determine your future. Vision will determine the friends you keep. It determines what books you go take out of the library, the use of your time, energy and focus, movies you watch, priorities in life, hobbies. Your visions will support all these. Entertainment for growth, environment for growth, imagination. The people we hang with will determine, our diets, what we invest. Who do we hang around with? What's that one comment that we hear all the time? We are the net worth of the 5 people we hang around with the most.
Right.
And I think that's absolutely true statement. If we really start looking, my financial picture, my opportunities have changed as I've changed people in my life. I got clear on my vision. And it really started to happen when I started being coached with Bob Proctor and his principles. What's your attitude of life? Is there positive in all circumstances? That it comes in where gratitude comes in, Mark. It's one of the most powerful statements in our positive view of the world. What's our gratitude? What are we grateful for? Your vision will determine your lifestyle right now. You can take a look around you right now. And I love what Glenn Bill said when I interviewed him, is look around you. Everything that you have that is actually a direct reflection of your attitude and belief systems, your lifestyle. Are you planning? Takes planning. And again, what are your values? I think when we start recognizing that if I can get clear on my vision and make all these things more positive, that's the direction I want to go. I don't want to live a life full of struggles and challenges that I've created. Keep in mind, it's not what the world has delivered, it's what I've created. It's my reaction or response with my attitude determines the outcomes I get. Any comment there, Mark?
Oh, I think that's spot on. I mean, my grandfather had a simpler way of putting it. I just vaguely remember he says the problems that you have are the ones that you created, And so I know that's so simplistic, but I mean, there's so much truth to that. If you have issues, and not that they can't be corrected, because that's what you're sharing with us tonight, but you need to look in that accountability mirror and say, hey, I'm the reason this is the way this is. And then you take action on it, correct it.
Yeah. And having a vision really clarifies leaders. You start recognizing true leaders, their purpose, their intentions. You start picking up on those things, that intuitive. Vision will help you make better decisions. And what I like this statement, your vision eliminates how-tos. This is an area that when a person is going through setting their vision and their goals and start asking, the first question that comes out of their thinking, first thought, is how to, leads to can't. If you keep seeing that question come up in your process of how-tos, got to change your thinking, because it leads to can't. I can't do that. I don't have enough money to make that investment. Something comes up, I can't do that because. And it's usually a belief system about yourself, not believing in your capability of recognizing your value and your gifts and talents. I'm just looking at my notes here real quick. Keep this in mind. People give to visions, not things. So let's talk about some nonprofits or people that have causes, whether feeding the hungry, stopping some of the tragic things that are going on in our culture. People will give money, their time and resources for the vision, not the things. Would you agree, Mark?
Oh yeah. Big time.
And this is really important. Friends stimulate your vision. Associate yourself with friends that stimulate your vision and ideas. They help you expand them. They're honest with you. They see your gifts. They reinforce your gifts. Stay away from small people. And I don't mean stature-wise, 5-footers versus 7-footers, but people that think small. They don't think outside the box. I want to be around creative, high energy people. Stay away from failures. What does that look like? Mark, what would you say that is?
Failures?
Yeah, stay away from people.
People that, to me, that are failures are always complaining about what they don't have enough of or what they can't do. And, their thinking is very limited. They're not looking at possibilities, and they definitely don't have a why.
Yeah. They keep doing the same thing.
They're in
over
that
and over
area
again,
of
right?
how to. They live in the world of how to, and then they disqualify themselves.
Right. They give up. But when we have a why, we have a purpose behind that. That's in Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. What's your desire? Write this down. Can you outgrow your friends, leave them, or the group? If you are the biggest thinker in the group, leave. Find a group that will challenge you to grow. That's something that doing this live streaming has put me in groups of people that I would never have thought I was worthy of to bring value to. And guess what I found out? I did bring value, and they were willing to help. So don't be afraid to join groups where you see people that are succeeding in those areas you want to succeed in, whether it be in your spiritual life, your personal life, your business life. Sometimes you just leave the group that you're in and join another group.
That's a good point.
And with a vision, you become a time traveler. You're living the future now. See beyond your mind's eye. Don't worry about the risk. Venture into the wilderness. Take the road less traveled. Any of that resonate with you, Mark?
Oh, yeah. The road less traveled, and be prepared to be criticized. And I say that kiddingly, but not. I think what you were talking about, your vision, when you mentioned it earlier, you can't worry what others are going to think or say, once you establish your vision.
Right.
And that for some people is hard. They are really concerned what others think.
Right. And go into a new group and be vulnerable and ask. Learn to ask for help.
Right.
Learn to ask for help. Hey, I'm struggling in this area. Can you help me work my way through it? Change your group with positive people. People will support your vision and encourage you. I think that's one of the most important things you can do is find those groups. I think when we have a strong vision, I think what Gandhi says, how do we change the world? We change ourselves first, one person at a time. Vision the world a better place of what you bring to the world. And I guarantee you, Mark, if you just influence one person in life, it has that butterfly effect. You've heard of that, right?
Yes.
it does affect other people. How we change the world, change ourselves first, share that change with somebody else and help them, and then in turn that sort of the ripple effect. See, our vision is created in our subconscious. When we have a clear vision, eliminates fear. Nothing's going to get in the way. Vision improves your self-image. I think this is where most people are not succeeding in anything they're doing, is their self-image doesn't match the outcome they're seeking.
Right.
Do you believe you're worthy of? And I guess what I found over the years, Mark, most people don't have a good relationship with success, especially when it comes to money and the worldly expectations of what that looks like. If you grew up in a family that always lived in poverty, and now you're going to talk to them about becoming a millionaire, how strong is your vision? How strong is your belief? Because if it's not strong, that old programming is going to creep up and drag you down every time. Stop spending time in the past. Understand the present moment determines the outcome of the future. Like I tell people, we've heard this, what are you grateful for this very moment? It's the most important moment of my life. How I deal with this moment determines what's going to happen in the future. So understand the present moment determines the outcome of the future, how we respond to it. Strong vision, passion. You got to have some hope. You got to have some faith. The greatest leaders focus initially on the future in writing. They have a clear written plan. It's like a painting. It's so descriptive. It describes every aspect of how they're going to feel about when they achieve that outcome. Writing the vision. It's got to be clear and simple. Don't be afraid of how many pages. Find a quiet place. Remove all distractions. Don't judge what you write. Your vision is locked deep within you. Don't see with your eyes. See how many. What am I reading here? I can't read my own writing here.
Well, you said don't be afraid of how many pages. Remove all the distractions. Don't judge what you write. And then your vision's locked deep within you. Don't see with your eyes. They see too many distractions. Your future's ahead of you. It's trapped inside you. Meditation, be still and you will know. And then you mentioned write all your desires down. Desire is the thought that never goes away. That's the vision. Desire is not having things, house, car. Desire is one thing that makes you angry and you want to solve. Vision creates alignment of the mind. Vision is doing things in a certain way. Simplify 1, 2 simple sentences. And then you have down at the bottom, vision grows. Vision creates new opportunities to solve more problems.
Yeah. Thanks, Mark.
No worries. This is good stuff.
Writing the vision, document it, the goal, life's purpose, one sentence, your gifts and talents you bring to the world, your genius, post it and see it daily, affirm your I am. I think this is an important thing, that I am statement, I am worthy of. That is a scriptural principle. It's also a universal principle for growth and positive thinking. I am. Make a plan, have strategies, revise, revision, and clarify. It's never that canvas is never finished. You're always tweaking it, making adjustments, adding more color. I like using the canvas analogy. You're always changing based on the season of the year, what's going on, and you continue painting that canvas. But the underlying vision is always the same.
Distractions, not bad things, good things. Don't accept the good things that come along. Don't become like others. Be yourself. You talked about that earlier. Don't
Yeah.
let people come into your life that want to change your vision to theirs.
Yeah. You might be involved with an organization or a company, and um, the leader has a big vision. You have something different in that vision, but you're using that as a vehicle. Stay with yours and you'll accomplish it, because you're not going to, if your vision doesn't match what they're trying to accomplish, it doesn't happen.
That's interesting. Is your mind pregnant? Are you ready to give birth to your vision? That's a unique way of putting that.
Yeah.
What
It all
you are
starts,
doing is
hopefully
not
we're planting a seed to get you to think differently. That's the whole
right.
purpose of tonight's talk.
Uh, what you are doing is not all you were born to do.
Here's something too. The greatest enemy of your success is your last success. Think about that. It leads to complacency and kills visions. Your success is greater than you realize. You have unlimited potential. Find your awesomeness, your genius, your vision. What do you think of that?
That's good stuff. It's a constant thing you have to do.
Yeah. I'm going to ask this question. What is the wealthiest place on earth? Where is it? Anything you want to say about that? Where's the wealthiest
I
place on
don't
earth?
know. I'd have to say my mind, but I don't know if you've ever heard that one stated before, but
Yeah,
um,
that's true. It's actually the cemetery. This is
right,
where, if you get clear on your vision, you can live your life without regrets.
right.
Okay. The wealthiest place on earth is the graveyard. All those people there had visions, had dreams, had goals, but they didn't go after them for one reason or other. So let's talk about that for a moment. Um, it's the cemetery. This is where the books that were never written or read, where the inventions were never followed through on, business that was not started, painting not painted, dreams never pursued, poems never read. You can sort of go a long way with a whole big list. Don't die full, die empty, give away, give it your all. Don't die with regrets. The greatest gift to humanity is to give us your gift. My On my headstone, I wanted to say, "It is finished."
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, there we are, my friend.
That was good.
Yeah, so thank you for getting me through some of that.
That's okay. No, it was good.
Yeah, so
Heck, I'd like to get a copy of that bad boy. That's definitely a good document.
yeah, yeah, that comes from the combination of many of the teachings I've had from Bob Proctor
I can
um,
see that.
and Dr. Miles Monroe.
Right.
Yeah. So, Mark, you're going to work on your vision.
Oh, absolutely. You got now you got me pumped. Now you got me thinking about things. So
That's it. Is your mind pregnant?
yeah, it's like conceived over I don't know how many times. I
Yeah,
won't
so
go down that road. We'll keep everything above board here. But yeah.
yeah, for anybody that's out there watching this, we're at the top of the hour here again. Boy, I tell you, time goes by in a hurry, doesn't it?
I'm telling you, it's actually it's 7:21.
Wow,
And we're just starting. We didn't even get into the vision now.
that's it. That's it. Well, Mark, any great plans this evening?
Well, I don't know because, I told you what I'm doing. Tonight I might
That's
have to
right.
take a pass and get myself ready for tomorrow's
Okay.
journey. And, I'll actually be riding the train and going down there. And right now I'm meeting a handful of people, at least five. That's not, there's more than that I'm going to see, obviously, but those are the people I got to see. And I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to do that because these are at
Don't
different
use
times.
how to, Mark. Don't use that word how to.
I know, excuse me. My vision is working on, you know, how that will play out during my day. I'm not going to stress about it, but you have designated stops and times and places. I got to meet some people, so it'll be interesting. And you got to be
Just vision
flexible.
the outcome that you hope from each one of those encounters. Each person is going to give you a different set of circumstances.
Oh
You're going
yeah,
to have a vision and an outcome that you want to accomplish, whether just renewing a relationship or lining up your intention to ask them to take the next step and discuss your offering as well. So
sure.
you'll have a good, just vision the outcome you seek on everything that you do.
My son's even on this one too. He wants to come see me. So I'm like, he said, because he works down there. So I was like, okay, yeah, we can do that. I just said, yeah. And I think that's one of the things you talked about. It's okay to load up your schedule, and the as long as you have the why, you don't even have to worry about how to. It'll happen.
Exactly.
You just don't get all wound up on the details.
Exactly.
Come on down and when let's hook up.
You got it. The answers will come. They're
Yep.
always there.
Yep. It's
Well,
kind of
my
like
friend,
I was just going to say, Tom, it's kind of like doing this, what we're doing, or picking this up and dialing it. And, like we're all great procrastinators. The person you has been on your chicken list or the person you're afraid to reach out to, well, let me get a cup of coffee or, oh, no, let me write this down or, just do it.
yeah,
Pick it up, do it, and then go from there.
exactly. Don't have to be perfect, but you have to have
Oh,
perfect strategy. That's all you need. Just switch the
right.
strategy, follow through, do the steps necessary, and the outcome will always
Sure.
be what it's supposed to be. Sometimes not meant to be that you sell everybody, right, Mark?
Right. Absolutely.
You
Other
want
things.
that one person that recognizes your value that will share your knowledge and wisdom with other people. That's the key.
Well, that kind of actually happened today.
Cool.
From it went from a no to a no, not in this area, but can you help me over here? And yeah, you can, and let's talk.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird how
Well,
all that works out.
hopefully we'll get somebody that will respond back to us, like to become a guest on the program. I'll reach out to some
Right.
people. We've got
Yeah.
some great people out there. There's people we've never met that can definitely make a difference in the world. We
I
want to
know
get
they're
your
out
message
there.
out. Yeah, we want to help you get your message out and support you in the way we can. So reach out to Mark or myself, DM us, and we'll get back to you and tell you what it takes to get on our platform here. So,
Absolutely.
all right. Well, let's call it a night, my friend.
Absolutely. I mean, as they say, man, that's a take.
All right.
Yeah.
God bless you. Have a good
Live.
day tomorrow.
Thank
And
you.
you got it, my friend. Take
Yeah, I'll
care.
let you know how things turn out.
You got it, bud.